Welcome to Reach the World ASAP. My name is Pastor Scott Griswold, and I have with me again here in the studio Ingrid Slikkers, who works at Andrews University in the Department of Social Work, but who has a deep, passionate heart for children who've been through trauma. Ingrid, this area is very close to my heart because of the time we spent in Cambodia, where they had just come out of the war and the times in the refugee camps. And people on my own streets I knew were enemies from the wartime. Others were little children who I knew were going through trauma right at that time. I'd see children being beaten sometimes. Others you knew had gone through trafficking. We would see prostitutes lining the street in certain places. It was a rough time. And that got my wife and I thinking and feeling that. I would like to ask you a question as someone who I know has been involved with this. What can be done if somebody has a heart like that and they want to get involved? Is there a career path, or just what would you say as a fellow Christian who knows that God cares about the brokenness of people? How do we begin touching those hurts?
Pastor Scott, that is deep and close to my heart. Science shows us that a child that has been to trauma, it actually affects their brain development. We can see it on imaging, with the science that we now have. So it physically affects the growth of a child's brain. And I know when that research first started coming out in the field, it was very sad and devastating because we said, what are we going to do with that? We can't go back. What are we going to do? And so researchers started coming out and looking and saying, what can be done? We started learning as a field, as a professional field of social work or psychology or just the helping professions, of saying, for children to heal, they need sensory things. And so fascinating work has been done with the gifts that God has given us. God provides ways of healing, which is fascinating. He always has an answer. And so things of whether it's art, whether it's tactile, whether it's nature, whether it's listening, and it's all done very strategic, but always with that caring individual. We've got to start with that human connection.
So like when I see World Vision or ADRA's work overseas in camps where children have come from being maybe soldiers or war, I see them with that art stuff all out there. They're playing with them, they're caring for them. So that really works to actually change the brain as well?
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes.
That's really neat.
So strategically looking at all our senses and how can we stimulate those senses in a safe environment? Because if these children were in these terrible situations and didn't feel safe, that part of the brain wasn't able to develop. So now we're going to allow for a safe place for them to do that. That also includes just playing. Let's have a good game of soccer with lots of dirt, lots of water, and lots of yelling.
Wow. And how about counseling in that setting?
Yes.
That's going to help.
Yes. And so you had asked me at the beginning, profession, absolutely counseling. It has been my honor and privilege to be a therapist for many years. And so we take some of these ideas and then we're very strategic in our sessions because they're children. So traditional talk therapy with children may not work at all times. And so we do these other strategic programs. And so if somebody's interested, obviously I work at Andrews and I recommend social work. That was my chosen field with my master's in social work. I was able to do this work, but psychologists can do it, counselors can do it. And there are ways, there's tools.
And an ordinary layperson who wants to care, they can play soccer with them.
Absolutely, and be that connection. Because remember, we've got to have that individual connection. Research shows us that every child needs 6 adults that are absolutely crazy about them. So we think about God's perfect world. That would have been mommy and daddy and 2 sets of grandparents.
Wow.
But for many of our kids, they don't have that. So if you could be that one individual that makes that connection. And then we add all this stuff to it.
That's beautiful. That's really exciting. Is there someone that's coming to your mind that you have seen God touch their life and find healing?
Yes. Previously, we were talking about refugee children. We have a little girl that's 7 in our program that just has been to some very, very tough things. And in the office, we did a lot of sensory things. But the Lord led her remarkable foster family to discover when she sat down at a piano one day and just started just touching the notes. And they literally saw a change in her. And so guess what we did? We found ways to get this little girl piano lessons, and then the beauty of music. So everything we were doing in the office, that family, the caretakers, but that God provides these other ways to touch and heal a child's heart. And she's got a long journey. She's got a long journey, but she's regrowing and rebuilding.
That's so beautiful. I can't imagine a better way to represent Jesus, who said, "Let the little children come to me and do not put a stumbling block in front of them." What a beautiful way to share his love. Thank you so much. And I'm sure if anyone wants to know more, they can get a hold of Ingrid Slikkers through Andrews University. Thanking you again for sharing.
Thank you.
So you've heard it. It is possible, whether they are refugees from another country who've been through war or abuse, or they're right here in America having gone through something traumatic, you can make a huge difference for children by loving them, playing soccer with them, or whatever else it might be. Let's pick this up. Any child around us that we can care for and represent his love, let's reach the world ASAP.